Hello, thank you for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is John Bamidele. Let's begin with the highlights. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu appeals to youths, highlights impact of violent protests on the nation's economy. More groups pull out of planned national protests, urges engagement with government. Plus, immediate ceasefire agreed as Angola mediates between warring Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. The recently introduced windfall tax under the Financial Act is gaining momentum for takeoff as the current administration seeks additional revenue to power development across the country. However, the policy came under scrutiny as President Bola Tinubu this Wednesday met with some bank chief executives at the State House. We'll bring you the report in the course of the bulletin. To other news, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, chronicles the activities of government within the last 14 months, as reported by our correspondent, Salihu Gwanara.
Because of this,
these members of the Federal Executive Council are the latest Nigerians that added their voices against the Plan End Bad Governance protest. As critical actors, they supported their position with facts and figures.
For the youth especially, and this is very important for them to know, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has a number of youth-focused initiatives. The first one is the Nigerian Student Loans Scheme. The provision of the Nigerian Student Loans Scheme has a provision to cover 2 million students. There is also the provision of pocket money.
They reaffirmed that President Bola Tinubu, as the driver of Renewed Hope agenda, is a true Democrat with total support to federalism, whose strategies are to confront challenges and achieve sustainable development without sentiment.
In so doing, that he also supported the restoration of autonomy to local government. Noteworthy is his decision recently to sign into law 2 development commissions, North to West, South, is consistent with the demand of those constituencies.
What we need as a nation is to allow these economic reforms and various interventions to mature through the gestation period into reality. And Nigeria will never be the same again. Nigeria will be put on a solid economic platform for this and future generations.
So, Mr. President, in his wisdom, has actually been protesting on behalf of Nigerians by ensuring that these key reforms that we need to put the country back on the path of sustained prosperity is being achieved.
Rather than go to the streets to protest, they appeal to Nigerians to join forces with leaders at all levels to collectively fast-track the positive reforms towards nation building. In Abuja, Salihu Gwanara, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has appealed to youths planning to embark on hunger protests in the country to reconsider their position, noting that violent protests at this time has the potential to halt the country's strides towards recovery. She made the appeal on the sidelines of the third quarter meeting of the Renewed Hope Initiative state coordinators in her office. State House correspondent NTAi reports.
It is the third quarter meeting of RHI state coordinators, and wives of state governors are here to take stock and get updates on the activities and programs of the Renewed Hope Initiative in the last quarter.
May her gentle soul rest in perfect peace.
A minute silence to mourn the passing of the late elegant stallion Onyeka Owenu opened the meeting.
Discussions will cover.
Then follows the business of the day, with Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu reeling out progress made in education, starting with 200 awardees of the Elder Nepal Scholarship, Young Farmers Club in Agriculture, and other key focal areas of interventions.
Additionally, RHI will provide 50,000 grant each to 1,000 women petty traders in the 36 states and the FCT to recapitalize existing small businesses and support their growth. The official launch is scheduled for August 22nd, 2024.
She disclosed that the winning design in the #One Nigeria Unity fabric has already been identified.
We are going to make sure that the fabric is locally made, so it's by Nigerians for Nigerians. Our first production will be about like 200,000, and then 5,000 to the state. Lagos will get 10 and Kano will get 10. So that's what we're looking at, so that we can wear it for October 1st. Nigeria is like the new bride in international community, and the youth have to see that. You know, all those things are very distracting, and I will appeal to them. Be patient, and then don't make life difficult for those who are still having quite a challenging life.
Ahead of today's meeting with RHI state coordinators, Nigeria's First Lady had paid an early morning visit to this garden, not to tend it this time around, but to harvest some vegetables, which she later showed off. Like the harvest, she says, federal government initiatives, especially those putting resources directly into the hands of Nigerians, need time to germinate and should be allowed to do so in an atmosphere of peace. In the State House, NTAi, NT News.
Similarly, the Center for Civil Relations, Open Dialogue and Development says the struggling Nigerians are enduring and not lost on government. The group, while addressing the media over the planned national protest, said resorting to protests which may turn violent are seen in several countries, noting that it is imperative that citizens of this great country understand that dialogue is the ultimate solution to all agitations. They called on the government to, as a matter of urgency, give speed to implementation of policies and programs that will revive the economy and improve the living conditions of the citizens.
We will not deviate into becoming mischievous, will not become elements of destruction, will not be used as items in the hands of the fifth columnist.
This is a call to unity and constructive engagement. Fellow Nigerians, particularly our vibrant and resilient youth, it is time to channel our energy towards constructive dialogue and peaceful engagement. Let us not be swayed by those who seek to exploit our frustrations for their own gain.
The President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu Jagaban Visionary Administration, has blazed a progressive trail and attained to many progressive milestones unprecedented in the political annals of the Nigerian state.
Minister of State for Steel Development, Uba Megari Amado, has called for the cancellation of the nationwide planned protest for the good of the nation. The minister, who led Taraba APC leaders and other community and religious leaders to its citizen engagement, where Taraba state youths and women, said President Bola Tinubu has put all machineries in place to better the lives of Nigerians. Hence, Tarabans and Nigerians should not participate in the protest against government. He said violence only worsens situations, often leading to uncontrollable looting, burning of property, destruction of vital infrastructure, and does not solve the issues. Instead, create new ones and set back in the pursuit of national progress and development. The minister called on the people to recognize the efforts the government is making to ameliorate the suffering of Nigerians and to bring governance and dividends of democracy closer to the people. Well, the proposed nationwide protests may have lost significant steam as more groups in the South have pulled out of the hunger protest. Addressing a joint news conference in Abuja, the coalition of Niger Delta ex-agitators for good governance and some civil society groups announced their withdrawal from the protest in order to give room for dialogue. Recalling the effect of the NSAS protest on the Niger Delta economy and the number of lives lost, the groups are of the view that taking any action this time that would put the lives of the youths at risk, hence their decision to opt out.
Urge the good people of Nigeria, the Niger Delta region, to avoid individuals that want to destroy the collective will of Nigerians and change the regime.
Follow leaders and people that are benefiting from the amnesty program, that they should use this time to think back of what happened in NSAS. We should not go to the road. I'm advising my brothers, they should not go to the road because the president and the coordinator of the amnesty program, Denis Otuaro, have good things for us.
Nigeria is working. We should exercise patience and work with the governments, contribute ideas.
But on to other issues. The foreign ministers of Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda on Tuesday agreed to a ceasefire in eastern Congo as Angolan leaders hosted warring sides. A strong ceasefire, we hear, has been agreed upon, effective immediately. Kolo Mohammed has more to tell us.
The Angolan presidency said this followed peace talks in Luanda at the second ministerial meeting between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Rwanda in Luanda under the mediation of the Republic of Angola, agreed on the establishment of a ceasefire that will come into effect immediately. The ceasefire will be monitored by a reinforced ad hoc verification mechanism referring to a monitoring system previously created under the auspices of regional grouping. Angola has been mediating in the conflict in the Eastern Republic of Congo of North Kivu, where Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have been fighting Democratic Republic of Congo forces since late 2021. It was not immediately clear if the ceasefire will extend to truce or have a larger scope. On July 5th, the United States announced the first 2 weeks of humanitarian truce, but the deal was not respected in some areas. 2 children and 2 teenagers were killed in a bombardment on July 15th, 4 days before the truce was to expire. At the end of June, the M23 and the Rwandan army seized several towns in Lubero territory in north of North Kivu following the collapse of the Congolese army and its auxiliary militia. The M23 rebels backed by Rwanda launched an offensive in North Kivu province, the mineral-rich eastern DR Congo, at the end of 2021, and since then have seized large swathes of territory. An expert report commissioned by the UN Security Council said that 3,000 to 4,000 Rwandan soldiers have been fighting alongside the M23 rebels, and that Kigali had the de facto control of the group's operations. Rwandan President Paul Kagame has not explicitly denied the presence of Rwandan forces in DRC and has made no bones about his willingness to take a defensive position to protect Kigali's interests. DR Congo's mineral-rich east has been racked for 30 years by fighting between both local and foreign-based armed groups, going back to regional wars of the 1990s. The conflict has killed scores of people and displaced hundreds of thousands more. Kolo Mohammed, NTA.
Authorities in Morocco are urging people to be extra vigilant as a brutal heat wave continues to bake the country. Some regions of the country are reporting record high temperatures, while one hospital in the center of the country has registered as many as 21 deaths related to the extreme weather.
Moroccan climate experts warn that severe heat waves will persist. Many regions in the North African country hit 47 degrees Celsius.
Dry and hot desert wind from the Grand Southern Moroccan Sahara, which is also known as the Sirocco, continues to blow northward toward the Mediterranean coast of Europe. This period between the end of July and August will record higher temperatures. Climate change also has a direct impact on weather. We will have more heat waves, and they will be hotter and longer than they are now.
Summer is heating up. Many Moroccans are heading to the beach to cool off on the coasts, in the sea or the ocean. Local authorities advise people to avoid swimming between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. when the sun is highest in the sky.
It's too hot at home, but also dangerous to swim during the heat wave. I prefer to swim very early or late in the evening after work. It's dangerous to stay out in the sun. Many people have died in Morocco. We must be very careful.
Despite the scorching heat, some people have no choice but to go out. Waste collector Mohammed Tasi is one of them.
I'm old but very careful. I'm used to walking outside. I know how to protect myself from the sun. I wear a hat and long sleeves. I also drink water and stay in the shade to avoid sunburn.
As many Moroccan households cannot afford to buy an air conditioning unit to mitigate the heat, shopkeepers like Mohammed Mazouzi are struggling to keep up with the high demand for fans.
There is a huge demand. All items are sold within hours. Some models use ice to cool the air. These fans are useful in very hot and dry places. The electricity consumption is also low.
The Moroccan Ministry of Health and Social Protection said that reports of health complications related to heat stroke have increased. Many people have died across the country. Health authorities have urged Moroccans to take precautionary measures to protect themselves from the heat and stay alert for symptoms of heat-related illnesses.
All right, let's take a break. We're back in a moment. Thank you for staying tuned. Sudanese nationals who escaped the front lines to the peaceful Kassala province now have their situations compounded by heavy flooding. Victims say their peace has now been taken away by the floods. Here is Kolo Mohammed with the details.
The hardship of the displaced people seeking shelter in Kassala province has been reviewed upwards by flooding in the area. Known as Industrial School, one of the biggest displacement camps in Kassala, has become an area seeking help. They mostly arrive from Senna and have been residing in the area for close to 50 days. Their situation, according to them, now critical, appealing to kind-hearted Kassalan residents to assist those in need with essential supplies like equipment, shelter, blankets, clothes, and medicine. Affected individuals through knee-deep flood waters, clutching onto their safe possessions. They, however, said they enjoyed peace and calm since they arrived, only now that flood has ravaged their camp. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
And we hear a huge landslide amidst heavy rains and strong winds, which hit Indian tea plantation, has killed hundreds of laborers and their families.
Relentless downpour and howling winds hamper search for survivors of landslides that struck India, killing hundreds, rendering living abodes flooded beyond trying to carry household items. Most of the killed are believed to be laborers and their families. Survivors converged at the local health center in southern India, teary-eyed relatives waiting anxiously as they see one ambulance after another coming in, waiting and hoping to find their relatives.
Sleepwalked past the point of no return, jeopardizing the health and safety of everyone on this planet. Do we really want to be remembered as the generation that buried its head in the sand, that fiddled while the planet burned? The other option is the path of hope, a path of resolve, of sustainable solutions, a path where more fossil fuels remain where they should be, in the ground.
In the same vein, pictures released by North Korean Central News Agency show the leader, Kim Jong-un, riding in a rubber boat as he inspects the flooded and damaged areas after record-breaking heavy rain. He also held a meeting inside a special train to discuss the situation in North Pyongyang. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Now, there are those who have committed themselves to the conservation and protection of wildlife and nature's green areas known as the rangers. While the work they do puts them in potential harm's way, little is done to acknowledge their sacrifices. Charles Alpha reports that the 2024 World Rangers Day does not only honor the bravery of these park rangers, but also highlights the difficulties they encounter every day in the line of duty.
About 2,351 conservation casualties of on-duty rangers have been recorded between 2006 and 2021 globally, with 140 rangers in 37 countries losing their lives in the line of duty between June 2023 and May 2024, according to reports of the International Ranger Federation. Nigeria accounts for 4% of this figure, recording 20 deaths and injured park rangers since inception of the park in 1991.
Park rangers are often faced with a wide number of challenges in the course of duty. Some of these challenges include poaching, mining, logging, lack of modern equipment, banditry, kidnapping, and cattle rustling.
For the Minister of Environment, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Mahmoud Kambari, it's about the pivotal role rangers play in achieving the shared vision of the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which Nigeria is signatory.
Their dedication, courage, and tireless efforts deserve our deepest admiration.
The European Union continues to support rangers in every aspect in terms of provision of training as well as funding.
Nigeria's National Park Service joins 160 member organizations of the International Ranger Federation, representing around 60,000 rangers to mark the 17th annual commemoration, with emphasis on the dedication and sacrifices of rangers. Cash presentations were made to the families of fallen rangers. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Nigeria is working towards a designated fund for research activities in the health sector. Minister of State, Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, made this known at the National Strategic Meeting on Health Research Development and Innovation in Abuja. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the gathering was at the instance of the Department of Health, Planning, Research and Statistics.
We can't go anywhere till we as a nation decide where we are going with research. National Research Fund should be invested and legally.
The critical role of research in quality decision-making continues to resonate as these stakeholders in the health sector deliberate on ways to transform health research in the country by identifying and proffering solutions to challenges such as inadequate funding, limited infrastructure, and brain drain. They are exploring innovative solutions to improve health outcomes as a theme. Health research in Nigeria, time to change the narrative, suggests.
The World Health Report, Research for Universal Health Coverage, emphasizes that universal health coverage cannot be achieved without evidence provided by scientific research.
We will support the things that you are prioritizing. And, long gone are the days of doing research for research's sake.
The shared ideas and partnerships from this meeting, in line with the health sector renewal agenda, are expected to boost the use of research in health policy making.
This administration, ladies and gentlemen, is committed to ensuring a conducive environment for the health research ecosystem to thrive, thereby serving as a fulcrum for the strategic blueprint anchored around Nigeria's progress in universal health coverage, geared towards saving lives, reducing both physical and financial pain.
This comes a huge responsibility on our shoulders to perform research, and innovation is one of our key enablers to achieving quality and targeted healthcare for our fellow citizens.
Stakeholders agree that the outcome of the meeting will be a turning point in Nigeria's journey to a healthier country if promptly implemented. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
In view of the rise in cases of flood incidents across the country, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has convened a National Emergency Coordination Forum of stakeholders to review the situation and strengthen partnerships together, towards the implementation of mitigation of strategies and timely response. Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Zubaida Umar, emphasized the need for all stakeholders to rise up to the challenges the 2024 flood devastation may pose in the country. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
The coordination meeting brought together stakeholders from all critical sectors of flood management for stock-taking and review of strategies to activate initial plan of actions after the release of the seasonal climate predictions and annual flood outlook that reveal high probability flood in the country. Director General of NEMA, Zubaida Omar, said, so far, the flood has impacted communities in 42 local government areas across 18 states with 44 lives lost. While appreciating the commitment of the stakeholders, she urged all relevant ministries, departments and agencies, including non-governmental organizations, not to relent in their effort aimed at ensuring that steps are being taken to reduce its impact across the country.
NEMA has also activated the National Emergency Operations Center to support and coordinate responses, share information, provide timely support to affected areas, collate and analyze flood incident data across the country.
The disaster does not reach a level that we were anticipating.
NEMA has since deployed its search and rescue officers to the affected communities to ensure prompt rescue and evacuation of flooded residents. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
And in order for us to take caution, let's find out how Thursday's weather would look like. That concludes the news. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguilera. My sign language interpreter is John Bamidele. Bye.